All right, so let's talk about copying dictionaries. It's easy enough to copy a dictionary. Let's just make a dictionary, and I'm going to say 30 is 3, 40 is 4, 50 is associated with 5. Okay, and if we print let's just print the ID of D here, and let's make D2, and that's going to be D.copy. And let's print the ID of D2. So notice those are different IDs. No surprise. Now, there's a rule of thumb that is not always followed, and I'm not saying you should always follow it, but in general, when you make a function, you don't want to modify the parameter. And let's take a look at that. So I've got D1 in here. That's the name of the parameter. I'm going to go ahead and say D2 is going to get D1.copy. And then maybe I'm going to say D2, so let me say first val, or first, let's say first key, is going to get D1, sorry, let's say D2 dot keys. I need to cast that to a list, and sub 0. So that's the first element that ends up getting packed into this keys list. And then let's modify it. Let's say D2 sub first key is going to be a cat now. And I'm going to go ahead and return D2. And we'll just notice a couple things here. I'm going to print D. That's our original. And then I'm going to print the modified version of D, which should have a replacement, and it does. So 33 as opposed to 30 cat. Okay, now let's get into some weird stuff. So let's not copy here. Let's not copy at all. So first key, I'm going to get this out of D1 now, and I'm going to modify D1, and I'm going to return D1. And this time, instead of printing D first, I'm going to print it after we call the function. So notice what we have here. First key gets, we're getting that first key. We are accessing the first element that the keys object, the dict keys object returns, and we're changing that value for the first key to cat, and then we're returning D1. So this first one should get the return from this function, and the second one, on line 14, the second time we print, should print this dictionary D that we passed in originally. So what happens? Notice that we have modified D. D is different because, and we have proof of this, 30 cat in both of these prints. And this is kind of a weird thing. I'm going to get rid of this line 7. I'm going to get rid of this return. And this time, we're still passing in D, but we're not going to print anything out from line 12 because we're not returning anything. Let's just take a look. It is modifying, even without the return, it's modifying D. So this function is modifying the dictionary in place. You're going to see that sometimes where we ask, or where it's prudent even, to modify a dictionary in place as opposed to making a copy of it and returning that copy. But you should realize what you're doing. In general, I would say the best rule of thumb is make a copy as so, right? D2 gets D1.copy, and then you're modifying D2. And when you do that, you're not modifying the original dictionary. You're not modifying the parameter. So notice 30 cat, 33. Simple syntax, D2 gets D1 dot copy.